most of the time we got our way, a couple of things that we made compromises on usually left us with a bad taste in our mouth, so we tried to do it as little as possible, but we're not immune. We're human,
When you have a mixer, Randy Staub, for example.
Yeah, Staub Goblin.
Staub Goblin.
That's what we call him.
So, would you go to the mixing sessions?
Oh yeah. I'm in on everything. Yeah, I can't leave things to chance. Yeah, I'm not that sort of architect. I got to be in there.
And typically, would Randy mix one song a day, or would you?
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Yeah,
about a song a day. Maybe a day and a half. He takes his time, and he's a real craftsman. And I think that was maybe a little unusual for him too. Having me be around, and I think we did it the other way, and tried it that way too. But mixing it is the last part of the baby being born, and so I gotta be in the room, when it's being delivered. I just don't feel like being out of the room at that particular point. That's the very last thing where I can go, all right, I'm done. It's cool. It sounds right. And I don't want to miss out on that.
Would Randy say, Jerry, can you not come until like 2 o'clock or so?
For sure. No, definitely. Same with Joe. I'm gonna be working till about 11 o'clock tonight. Maybe come by at 11:30, or if I call you and tell you I'm not good, come in tomorrow at noon. Yeah, of course. You want to allow people to do their job. I'm not a mixer, but I do have a pretty good ear.
Made a lot of records.
And I am the architect, so I know how the thing is supposed to look and supposed to sound.
Yeah.
And, it's a very personal thing. And so what might be important to Joe in the mix, or what might be important to Randy in the mix, is not serving what I intend for the architecture to look like. Like you have the harmony above the lead vocal here. It's just got to change that ratio a little bit, you know what I mean? Or just little details of bits and stuff. It's not like major stuff, but the little small bits that maybe only I would hear, because I've been, I'm the architect from the get-go, and they're on the finishing line. I've also been talked into some good moves by those guys as well. Like, okay, well, let's do this like you want to do it, and then we'll go back to the way I wanted it. And like, they'll show me the move that I wanted, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that doesn't sound as good as it. So it's a collaborative process. I enjoy that about making music. Everybody's got their little expertise. They've got their interest, and also their personal vision of it, and their pride in their work and stuff. So music is a collaborative thing. Whether you're working in a band, whether you're working on a solo record, it's not a solo record. There's a whole band of people and a producer. It's a group of people. It's a band. It's a village as well. So it takes a lot of people to bring in a piece of work. And I like that. I like being part of a team. It's necessary.
I'd like to take a second to talk to you about this channel. This is actually Rick Beato 2. I've had it since the beginning of my main channel, and many of you are not subscribed. As a matter of fact, 87% of the people that watch this channel regularly are not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit the subscribe button on this channel and on my main channel. This will help me get even more of my dream guests and help continue to grow both channels. Thank you.
Did you guys record with clicks back on the early records?
Not really. Maybe for like some stuff, for like sections or whatever like that. If we were having a trouble catching a transition out of something, you could kind of feed a little bit into Sean's ear or something like that.
When you track your new record, would you record any stuff at home that you'd bring in? Do you ever have stuff that you're like, I want to keep this guitar part?
Sure.
I think it's right.
Yeah, sometimes you can't recreate something. Even if it's kind of recorded in a not the greatest way,
right?
It's a bunch of noise and it's a shitty mic, and maybe it's not the greatest tone, but there's a vibe to it, So that's the most important thing, rather than perfection, is catching the vibe. I mean, I don't know if you've had the opportunity, and it's kind of I don't know. I guess I feel two different ways about it. It's kind of sacrilegious to tear Floyd or Zeppelin or the Beatles or the Stones apart, but there's tracks out there, and you can separate them and listen to all of the many imperfections, like out of key, out of time, not playing together, noise on the amp, and tape recorded over so many times you can hear the other vocal track still on there, and you put it all together, and that's what makes that fucking song as badass as it is. And that's a real good lesson in like, man, it does not have to be perfect. It's just it's got to have the right vibe, and perfection is not necessarily being perfect, and it's kind of an unattainable thing anyway. You're just trying to head that direction and get as close as you can. So,
When you're making a new record, are there demos for everything?
Yeah. Of course there are.
Okay.
Yeah, there's sketches all the way.
Do you really track them, or do you kind of say?
I do. I get pretty close in the demo process. I try not to beat it to death.
Yeah.
It's just so I can get a good basic drum take that's for the basic feel, the basic bass line, maybe some melodies, a couple of color lines.
Do you try to not make it too perfect because you know you're going to re-record it?
Yeah, but I still try to make it pretty good. So I'm not going to know if it's good unless I can at least make a decent demo of it, But correctly speaking, that's a good point that you bring up. But you don't want to finish it off at that point because, you want to leave some room for it to grow, for some magic to happen, and for some surprises to kind of come along. You can beat the life out of a track if you record it too much, So just enough to get it in a good enough shape to go, that's pretty good. All right, now leave that alone. Now work on another one until you've got a body of those where, okay, this sounds like a record to me. Now who's going to play this stuff? And then you get on the phone and you call up, Gil Sharon, and you call up Mike Borden, and you call Robert Trujillo, and you call Duff McKagan and Greg Pachado and Lola Collette and Vincent Jones and Tyler Bates. You call them up and say, let's go. And they're like, hell yeah, let's go.
When you're mixing the record, do you ever add a little part here or there? Because you're like, it could, will Joe say, I think it needs a little part right here.
I have yet to do a record with Joe where we haven't recorded during the mixing process. In the first two, he had to mix somebody else's stuff, and he's like, I can hear your chair squeaking on that acoustic guitar track. Go grab that guitar off the wall. And I replay it real quick, or like, God, listening to something, God, what, I wish I would have put this here. And he's like, well, let's just put it here. Let's grab a guitar, plug it in, done.